People who've been watching Crowdsource the Truth for a while are going to remember my tangle with the disinformation diva, Miss Nina Jankowicz. It's a name that maybe hasn't come up for people in quite a while, but back in May of 2022, I produced this video, Disinformation Diva, or Dangerous Double Agent, Who is Nina Jankowicz? And in that video, I went through a bunch of information, including public domain evidence that showed us that Nina Jankowicz should have been registered with the Foreign Agent Registrations Act in FARA. And that was an allegation at the time, but of course, she did register under FARA. She quit, or was, relieved of her position. According to the Washington Post, the Disinformation Governance Board was shut down because it became the subject of disinformation itself. They tell us it was, what did they say, deactivated. You know, she was sort of retired from that position. I forget the exact language that she used, but she doesn't say that she was fired. I say she was fired. This is an article written by Taylor Lorenz on May 18th, 2022, about how the Biden administration let right-wing attacks derail its disinformation efforts. But this was no attack. This was a news video that I produced using public domain information sources, including this photograph itself, which I downloaded from Nina's website. She was running a for-profit LLC at the time called Sophia's Strategies, and that appeared to be receiving money from foreign nonprofits. It was quite a story. If you haven't seen it, it's still available on odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth. Unfortunately, Odyssey can no longer process credit card payments, so people can't sponsor me on Odyssey any longer unless you're using the CoreWeave cryptocurrency. But I do encourage people to sponsor on subscribestar.com or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth or on crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com. And you know what? I'll make sure after this broadcast that the original Disinformation Diva broadcast is available there. It's available for free on Odyssey, so you don't even have to subscribe. You can just go watch it on Odyssey. But tonight, I'm going to do a special counter Lawfare broadcast because this Odyssey with Nina, it hasn't ended for me. I'm actually in my police office here. This was supposed to be the counter Lawfare headquarters, but we see Eric Adams there. The point is, Nina brought a legal action against me shortly after this occurred. Basically, the sequence of events went like this. Nina someone struck my Twitter account. And this is part of the reason why I have two Twitter accounts right now. Of course, people can follow me at JG_CSTT. That's my most popular Twitter account. But also, my original X Twitter account was this one, which I've renamed at Jason Goodman NYC. This was the one that Nina initially, or someone initially, struck. And it was quite distressing at the time because, you know, there is a band of lunatics, mostly led by George's brother, who have endeavored for years to make it impossible for me to earn a living by trying to get me kicked off of every possible social media platform that there is. And, you know, people watching might say, oh, haha, that's funny. I know people who are interested in hearing facts, finding the truth, seeing important news broadcasts don't feel that way. But there are malicious people out there, social engineers, and also people who are just jerks who like to laugh about this sort of thing. But, you know, this is my job. This is how I earn a living. If I owned a restaurant, even if you didn't eat at the restaurant, would you laugh when people drove by and threw Molotov cocktails in the restaurant and burned the place down so I couldn't earn a living and I couldn't do my job and buy food and pay for my living expenses and stuff like that. Why? Who would do that? You know, these are people who claim to want everybody to have freedom and rights, and they're worried about whatever kind of oppression might be going on, but yet they laugh and they think it's great when people like Nina and those that she serve and those that serve her do things to destroy my business. So tonight, I'm going to take everybody through the appeal that is currently live in the Virginia Court of Appeals. This is Jankowicz v. Goodman. So Nina or someone struck that Twitter account and took it down. And I sent her a legal notice. I said, if you do not contact Twitter, she lied in my estimation. She said that I had disclosed personal information. That's not true. I published the FARA filing that she filed with FARA. And when you do that, it becomes public information. The purpose of FARA is to alert the public of the activity of agents of foreign governments here in the United States of America. And as a journalist, I published for everyone to see the activity of a registered foreign agent, and she used legal process to stifle me. So even if you dislike me, if you like the concept of journalism and truth, you should object to this. You shouldn't mock me, and you should sponsor Crowdsource the Truth by going to crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com or subscribestar.com or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. People can also send a one-time payment on paypal.me/crowdsourcethetruth to sponsor the show. But the point of the matter is, this action was taken to shut down my Twitter account and my ability to broadcast information and news and opinions and facts about foreign agents operating in the United States of America. So I contacted Nina and I told her that if she didn't contact Twitter and correct this problem, she would be sued. And then I sued her because she did not do that. Now, after I sued her in conjunction with George's brother, and I'm not making this up, you're going to hear tonight about evidence of George's brother working with Nina and her attorneys to lie, to deceive the court, to deceive the police, and to get me in trouble. For 2 years, I was under a restraining order where I wasn't allowed to exercise the First Amendment. I wasn't allowed to exercise the Second Amendment. And this was a true abomination of law. Luckily, my growing skills in counter lawfare, mind you, I'm not an attorney. I should remind everyone, nothing I'm going to say tonight is legal advice. I'm not qualified to give anyone legal advice, and I am not an attorney. But I am an expert in counter lawfare. I think they say 10,000 hours to become an expert in something. I've been at it for 9 years. And what I'm going to read to everyone tonight is going to be the actual appellate document from the appeal here in the Court of Appeals of Virginia. And people will be able to, I have to be very careful because elements of this case have been filed under seal. So this is going to be a special counter lawfare report for sponsors. Join me right after this broadcast in about 5 minutes on crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com and on subscribestar.com and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. We're going to go through this appellate brief. People will be able to ask any questions that they might have. We'll have an Ask Me Anything kind of session there. And it is absolutely disgusting. Thank you in the comments. In the end, God wins, 863. It's disgusting. This is an abuse of the legal system. And George's brother is involved, very involved. Many people are involved. Nina Jankowicz is a serious abuser of the law, in my opinion. She has her American Sunlight project. People are also going to hear about Ben Wittes. This is an important guy. This is not about me airing some personal beef. Ben Wittes is mentioned in a lot of these documents about Arctic frost and Russiagate and all of that. Ben Wittes is on the board of advisors for Nina's nonprofit. Look at that. There he is right there. So this is really important stuff. I realize it's not as dramatic perhaps as a assassination threat against Candace Owens. It's not as timely perhaps as the assassination of Charlie Kirk. But this is important to anyone who wants there to be justice and fair laws, fair treatment under the law. This is an important subject. And even though Nina's not in the government right now, she's a young woman. I'm sure she has plans to return. So what I'm doing is extremely important in terms of forcing her to abide by the law. And I hope that you will help me do that by sponsoring the show on subscribestar.com and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth or crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com. Join me right now. We're going to go through the entire appellate brief. I think you're going to be shocked by the facts that you hear in this thing. And stay with me. I'll be right back.